Hello, everybody. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. I'm so happy to be here talking about my new favorite show, and you can find it on Amazon Prime if you haven't already watched it. I highly recommend you check out The Boys. It's by Garth Ennis. It's a comic series that has now been adapted by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, who made the Preacher series. Garth Ennis made this the comic as well for Preacher. This show is a lot of fun, and I brought in my comic expert once again, Adan. Welcome back. How you doing, man?
It's good to be back.
We're going to talk about this series. I've only seen the first 4. You've seen the whole season, but we're not going to spoil. But I've seen enough to be able to talk enough about it, and I know Don's told me it only gets better. But I thought we should break this down and talk about the series. While we talk about it, let's Simon Pegg's in it. You're a fan. What do you think so far?
I loved it. I watched it twice, and I watched it with my mother. She never knew what was coming her way when she watched it, and funny enough, she watched it already like 3 times and already is asking for like season 2. Like she's like, I want this now.
Yeah, no, which is fascinating because Amazon was so impressed by this show, they actually booked a season. They bought a season 2 before it even premiered, so that's always a good sign. And everyone has been telling me about the show. So it was sort of like the Umbrella Academy on Netflix was another one that a lot of people talked about that I'm a fan of. I'm kind of enjoying The Boys more. I'm more intrigued with this world. It's a little bit more poppy and I'm into it and darker. Umbrella Academy was good, but it got a little slow in spots, and then it sort of ends at a point where like, all right, well, I want to see now. The Boys I'm already intrigued where it's going to go, and I'm excited for where it goes. But yeah, the cast is great. It stars, so it's like a Justice League type of heroes. They're called the Seven.
Yeah.
It's just so you guys have your background of where it started. And then there's Karl Urban comes in as sort of this mysterious figure. They don't really know what his intents are, but he is not a fan of these heroes. He thinks they should be more held responsible for things, that they have too much power. He's sort of an anarchist who wants to sort of set the rights of the world of should they have this kind of power, sort of what you learn, or is he a bad guy? You don't really know as it starts in that first episode, that's part of the appeal of the show is there are some surprising places they go with it, and it's really dark and violent is also where they go. Yes, Adan? I hear it gets worse.
It is. Funny enough, they're not as dark as it is in the book, which I understand. Some of the stuff will push it. And they're trying to make it more relevant as it is now. But as dark as it is, it's extremely intelligent.
Yeah.
Like if you're watching it, watch for subtle plays of manipulation and items that are being done. And it's not just from like the big bads that everybody is watching. It's like there's a lot of mental faculties that are ensued in the entire show.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's sort of the relationships between everybody and what happens if you were to live in a world with heroes. Would they take advantage of that power? That's a more fascinating, interesting question that the MCU is not going to tackle anytime soon. So it's really nice to have that sort of interesting new take on things and going dark and violent and questionable. And the first episode starts with like a superhero who basically just uses the new female superhero for his own good. It's really creepy and really messed up.
They hit so many things on the first episode. It was like like that one character just runs through everything. Yep. And then episode 2 slows down a little bit and then picks back up. It's a ride you're going through.
And I think what we're doing isn't spoiling. It sort of sets the tone because it is a little bit like I didn't know anything about it when I started it, and I wish I'd just known a little bit of that plot synopsis because it does help. But that's how the world sets. You're set in there. But I want you guys to watch it. Please keep watching it. I'm going to do a video a little bit later where we break down the whole series, but I wanted to make sure I launched at least a video here to remind everybody to go check it out. It's on Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime, I recommend. There's a lot of good stuff on there. A lot of good movie. They have a good movie catalog, and they have some other great shows in there. So Amazon Prime, I think, is a contender in the streaming market that people sort of ignore. And a lot of people have Prime and don't even realize they have it.
Yeah, I was one of them.
Yeah, if you have Amazon Prime, and which most you sadly have to have in this day and age to get stuff quickly, you have it already, so you can tune in. But anyway, The Boys, very fantastic. Check it out. Rather than spoil The Boys and talk about it, we thought we'd pivot this show and to go into something a little different and discuss this idea of what other properties are like The Boys? What other properties could, not make superhero fatigue take on, but put us in a new direction of superhero type of content?
Yeah.
And Adan, you've selected 3 other stories, some of which I knew a little bit, but you're a little bit more of a comic guy than I am. So let's check these out. First up, we have Robert Kirkman's Invincible. Yes.
Yes.
So fill him in. I know a little bit about this one, but give me the quick log line. Why should this one be why would this be a good follow-up?
Okay,
similar to The Boys?
And the good follow-up on this is similar to The Boys is a world of superpowers. But instead of focusing on like the propaganda and item of that, they're actually focusing on more being raised in a superpower family, and also the. I'm trying not to give away
Don't
too much
spoil,
of the story.
because people can go get the book.
Yeah, and you're being raised by the main character is a teenager, and he develops superpowers, and his father is one of the most powerful heroes there is. But there's an early twist that comes in there, and he has to deal with the struggles of that, and as his powers are developing. The problem with this is he's learning also control, and he's learning also, like, it's not clear cut like as it is in the comics. There's a lot of tragedy that goes his way.
So it's like a more gritty, real Spider-Man, like going real dark.
Yeah, it goes real dark in some areas. In some areas, it's very light. But it not only affects him, it affects those that are close to him, his family. It deals with some of the early issues deals with like being bullied and people being abused. And it's not even through him; it's through other characters that he has to deal with, and then he realizes they're broken.
Right.
And he doesn't know how to fix them.
And so is this completed the run, or is this still in circulation? Is he still telling the story?
I want to say it's completed now. They may decide to revamp it.
But you can pick it up at comic shops. Go check out Invincible. And it was going to be a film by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, ironically. But then and a series it fell apart. But now apparently Kirkman is adapting this into an adult animated series, also for Amazon Prime. So Amazon Prime's getting this sort of edgy superhero niche covered. Yeah. But it's interesting because from everything I've heard of Invincible, it's clear Seth and Evan wanted to make this one, and then something fell through, and then they're like, well, the boys, that's just as good. So that's interesting comparison. It sounds like Invincible is probably one of the closest ones too.
I would think it would actually be a good idea for the animation because it deals with Outworld universe. So it's not just centralized like the boys. It's more in like the city.
Got it. This goes more global.
It's global and it goes universal.
Got it.
So it's probably a budget thing also.
Makes sense. All right. Next up on the list, we have, what is this one? Irredeemable.
One of my personal favorites. Irredeemable is a 10 graphic novels, I want to say, and they spun off into Incorruptible. Basically, you take Superman, and in the first issue, he just goes bad. No one knows why, and he like literally incinerates the first character that has like Blue Beetle and Batman in his own house with his family. And that's how your introduction to the character is. And villains think he's going bad and they want to team up and he incinerates them. And it just turns out that he's going bad because of the world. And he's tired of trying to live up to the world. And it's like he's just broken. And they go into all the different facets of what led him to be broken. And then near the end, is some people liked the ending, some people didn't. And it's just showing, like, can he ever be redeemed from being the worst villain ever?
So a hero makes a mistake, tries to do justice, justify it, figures out, and just falls into a well of traps and things that happens when you live a life of a lie, which sadly I know a little bit about in my personal life. And I can offer this to anybody watching. If you're living a lie, come clean and tell those you love that you are doing something, because it only makes things worse, because it always comes out. And if you are a Superman person, I can't imagine the stakes and what happens at that level and how just you can turn to the dark side.
Well, let's put it this way. Like, you know how the internet is. Everybody says everything. They'll compliment you and insult you at the same time, right? He doesn't need the internet. He can hear anything from across the world, even from outer space. And like someone would, and he talks about that, like he'll be saving someone and they'll praise him, compliment him. As soon as he turns his back, he'll hear them insult him. And it's just a mental issue that just develops through him. And like you said, he has a one main mistake, but he was trying to keep things good, and it just spirals and gets worse and worse and worse, and he finally breaks.
Fascinating story. I want to read it. It's called Irredeemable.
Yep.
Okay. And
I'll let you borrow some of the comics.
Okay, cool. And is that still in circulation, or that's wrapped up too?
It's wrapped up.
What's nice is all these were pitching. They sort of can go read it now.
And they only had like 10 main graphic novels, and they spun off into Incorruptible, whereas the reverse concept, one of his main villains actually becomes a hero.
Ah, it's like Megamind.
Kind of. But it was because the main villain saw him, and he realized, oh my God, this is the worst thing that could ever happen. And he realizes he was holding back the entire time. And he's like, this is after he's gone. He decides someone needs to step up. And he becomes a hero.
That's a clever twist on it. Mm-hmm. All right, and we got one more here. You're pitching here, which is who's this?
This is Apollo from Stormwatch. Stormwatch was a series originally from Wildstorm Comics and got bought out by DC. So he's now in continuity with DC. So probably can focus more on Stormwatch, the team. It's basically government-owned team. So kind of like The Boys, but not by media. They're owned by the government. And his team is not Stormwatch. He was a separate team against Stormwatch, but they were both heroes. He's genetically modified. He's a superhero that was a former soldier. He was genetically modified. Essentially, he's Superman. He absorbs the rays of the sun, has all the same power set. He's openly gay. Mm-hmm. And his, I believe that's Midnighter as well in the main picture you have there. That's his partner. And Midnighter superpower is basically, in an instant, he can come up with any scenario to resolve it. Any battle tactic and item. So he doesn't have superhuman strength or anything like that. He's just super.
He looks
tactician.
like a Batman, yeah.
He's basically Batman.
Got it. And then this is the other guy is
Superman.
Superman, okay.
And they are definitely a couple. The Batman one, just like Batman, is super violent, way more violent than Apollo. And but they do have issues. Like when he went through the experimental process to become a superhero, they wiped some of his memory. He's been kidnapped. They tried to brainwash him.
Who are these guys?
Other members of their team that they've been together with. And actually, the first team that Apollo and Midnighter was on, all their teammates died because Apollo was the leader at that time, and he froze. So they caused the death of everybody there, except for a couple. And Midnighter took over the position as being the leader. So he's broken in the sense that he realizes he can't handle the pressure in certain scenarios.
So they're just extreme heroes, and openly gay superhero couple is kind of a fascinating thing to deal with in this day and age.
And it also deals with the confines of they're heroes, but they're also controlled by the government. And so they have restrictions and items that they have to adhere to, and they can't actively do everything that they want to do.
Well, there you go. 3, and this run is still going. This is also comic in shops.
Yeah, Stormwatch they can get in comics. So you'll see these characters, and Stormwatch has their own team, and they're pretty much the same situation. So I would definitely pick it up. Some of the old ones, absolutely.
All right.
90s series.
Good suggestions. Well, there you have it. If you like The Boys, or first of all, if you haven't seen The Boys, go check it out, or pick up the comic by Garth Ennis. And then if you like that book or the show, here's 3 more you can check out. If you haven't already read Invincible, check it out obviously first. And then we have Stormwatch, and we have Irredeemable, 2 other books out there that are probably at some point will be adapted, because it seems like Hollywood can't wait to adapt every single comic and book property that exists. Well, there you have it. Thank you for coming, Adan.
It's a pleasure to be here, always.
Always good talking comics with you, educating me on more of the nerdy comic stuff that I need to know and I want to learn. I want to read some of them, so I'm going to borrow some of them. What are some comics you want to recommend? Let's talk about it down below. And have you watched The Boys? Are we correct, or did you not like it? I'm curious to see what you guys think. Leave it down in the comments below. You can also hit me up on social media at any signal, or Instagram, Twitter, and all that jazz. And again, as always, please check out my Kickstarter. Not to get repetitive, but I really need some support there. We're so close. Thanks to all of you who donated. It really means a lot, and we're so close to getting this project done. So check it out. The link is in the description below and is actually here on the end screen of the video. Click the little hugging the cactus and you'll learn more. But thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you soon. Bye, everybody. Bye.